Hi everyone, Aaron here for Zollotech, and I'm going to review the iPhone 6 Plus. I've been using it for about a week since it came out. It's a great phone, it's very large, probably too large for a lot of people, but let's talk about what you get with the phone first. The iPhone 6 Plus comes in the same colors as last year with gold, silver, and space gray, but they've bumped the price for the 6 Plus up about $100 over the 6. So that means on a 2-year contract you're going to pay $400, $500, or $600. Without a contract it gets a little bit more than that at $750, $850, and $950, and that's all in US dollars. So you can spend about $1,000 on an iPhone, which seems a little bit crazy, but it is a really nice phone. Inside the phone, we have Apple's all-new A8 processor along with its M8 Motion coprocessor. It's really fast. It only has a gigabyte of RAM, but it really doesn't seem to be slow or you have any slowdown whatsoever. In fact, with everyday use, there's no problem whatsoever, and I've never seen any problems. So some people get hung up on specs, but really in this case it doesn't seem to be an issue. Now, one of the reasons you'd probably want the iPhone 6 Plus is the large display. It's a 1080p display, it's beautiful, it's super high definition, or it's a Retina HD. So it's 1080p, but it's also super high pixel density. So there are others out there that are a little bit better, but this one in particular looks beautiful. I have no problems with it, and it's actually rated as the best display on smartphones as of this time of the review. Inside, you also get a 2,915 milliamp hour battery. That's almost double the size of the battery in the iPhone 5S. That's a huge battery, and another reason to get the 6 Plus. The battery lasts under heavy use over 7 hours. I did really heavy use on it, played games and everything else, and got about 7.5 to 8 hours of use under extreme heavy use. It shut off at 1% and actually worked really well all day. Now, on a normal day with regular use, I probably could go to bed with 30 to 50% of the phone battery left, wake up and not plug it in until about noon the next day. So it's a really good battery. Now, the design of this phone's a little bit different. Apple's moved the power button to the side, and that really complements the size of the phones. It really helps when turning it on, so you don't have to scooch the phone up and down, which is one of the downsides of this large display and large phone. But overall, the design is really nice. In fact, it's my favorite design of all iPhones. Along the other side of the phone, you have your volume buttons. They've changed to be more like the iPad Air, and your vibrate switch as well. There's nothing along the top anymore. And then on the bottom, you've got the normal speaker, your lightning adapter, your microphone, and 3.5mm headphone jack. On the front, you've got your forward-facing HD FaceTime camera, and that's about it as far as your display and the camera. On the back of the phone, you've got an all-new 8-megapixel sensor. Now, 8 megapixels might not sound like a lot next to other phones, but really the iPhone 6 and 6 Plus take the best photos of any phone out there. So you really no longer need to carry any sort of other camera with you unless you want a serious SLR or something along those lines. The camera has great image stabilization, especially in the 6 Plus. It's got optical image stabilization that uses the gyro inside to measure the action on the phone and counteract it with a little motor basically on the optical image stabilization. It's pretty interesting how it works. And then you've got a dual LED flash. But let's take a quick look at the video and show you some of the video and the pictures I've taken with it that are really quite nice. I'm using the front-facing camera, and one thing's interesting is to see the rear camera shake when it vibrates. I'm just holding this in my hand now, and it's trying to stabilize it. But it's doing a pretty good job, especially when driving down a bumpy road. Check this out. Now, using this phone, it's been really nice, but I do have some complaints with it. The size for me is just so large that it's a little bit difficult to use. Now, I've used other large phones, Android phones, Windows phones, and some of them actually feel a little better in the hand. They're a little less slippery because the edges are squared off. In the case with the iPhone 6 Plus, no pun intended, I would use a case, something to add a little bit of grip, whether it be Apple's leather case or silicone case or something else. I would definitely suggest a case. And with recent reports of it bending, which I actually haven't had any problems with whatsoever, I definitely suggest adding a little bit of a case, being careful where you put it. And that's definitely a concern. iOS 8 is a great update for iPhone. It's a huge update, and it's available for iPhone 4S and up. And on the iPhone 6, it really does it justice with the larger display. You get a couple extra options as far as the iPhone 6 Plus goes when you rotate it to landscape, as far as in mail and on the home screen. So it's some really nice quick updates. I tend to not use it so much just because it's really not anything that I use. I want to see the larger display. However, I'm not going to talk too much about the recent updates to iOS 8 since I've made another video, and I can leave a link in the description below about the new features in iOS 8 compared to iOS 7. So it's a really great update, and one of the things I can't wait to try out, it's not out yet until October, is the Pay system, or Apple Pay, that's built in with an NFC chip in the top of the phone. We won't be able to try that until a little bit later next month or in October, depending on when you're watching this. It's a really great way to pay in theory, and it'll be interesting to try that out. And that brings me to my opinion about the phone. The phone is really nice, but for me, it's just too large. In fact, I'll probably be using the iPhone 6 as my daily phone. It's a really nice phone, but I always feel like I'm going to drop it. I'm always worried about where I'm going to set it, and I'd rather just switch to an iPad when I don't want to use my phone. I know that's not the case for everyone. Some people want a very large battery and a very long life phone, but for me, that's just not the case. I want a phone to be a phone, an iPad to be an iPad, and a computer to be a computer. I personally am not ready for them all to be on my phone. I want to use the bigger screens when I have the option. So that's just my personal opinion, but I'd love to hear what you think about the new iPhone 6 Plus and the smaller iPhone 6. And maybe it wasn't enough for you and you wanted to get something a little bit different. Let me know in the comments below. If you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe. Be sure to like this video. As always, thanks for watching. This is Aaron. I'll see you next time.